Hey guys, it's Drew again. If someone came up to you and asked, what type of collector are you? What one word would you use? Are you a play collector, a set collector? Are you a team collector? Well, I've tried all of this stuff over the decades and I've found a lot of fun in all of it, but I think there's one specific thing that I really find the most joy of, and I want to share that with you today. So let's check it out. Now, I've collected cards actively for decades now, and I've tried about everything. Like I mentioned before, I've done complete sets, I tried to do player runs, I've done team sets, I've done different kind of fun and quirky things like cards with catcher gears or things like that. And they're all fun and it's great discovery. But when it really comes down to it, I think what I like the most is I really think I like type collecting. Now, I would call myself a type collector years ago when I was doing my Hall of Fame run. I wanted a card from every Hall of Famer when they were active that played from 1900 on. And I succeeded in doing that. And one of the neat things was all the discovery about all the sets, especially the pre-war sets, that I had never heard of. I mean, we all know T206 and Gaudi, but I'm talking about the other sets, some more obscure sets. And I really learned a lot. And it's just sort of this rabbit hole of discovery. And I really like that. I mean, I think we all as collectors like to learn. We like to learn about players or histories or whatever. And so I really have enjoyed type collecting. So as I've really tried to narrow down my focus and I've really tried to work on collecting in a very small, limited amount, I've really kind of pulled away from Topps and Bowman. Now, there's nothing wrong with Topps or Bowman. Beautiful cards. So many of my cards are some of the most cherished cards I have, and I have great memories, so I'm not putting them down at all. But I've really enjoyed discovery of new cards, of new sets, and sometimes maybe it was put out by Topps, but not the main card. So I just randomly pick some. Now, this is not all the types of cards that I have, but just as an example of just some of the cards that I've gotten over the last few years, there are type cards. So a type card, if you don't know, it's just a card of a different type of set. So there's literally hundreds of different sets out there. If you just want a card from all these different sets, and it just kind of tells a more deep story, at least in my opinion. So I just randomly, like I said, went around my room. I picked some cards up. I don't know how many there are. They're not in any specific order, but you should see what these are some of the cards that I picked up. And I've shown most of these off, if not all of them before, but this is what I'm talking about. So the first one at random I'm going to show you is my Stallmeyer hot dog card of Carl Erskine. And this is what I'm talking about. This is a card, you know, they just put them in hot dog packages. And again, all these cards that I'm showing you, they were printed and made and packaged with something to try to sell the actual item that the company was producing. In this case, well, this was hot dogs. So there's one. The next one, now this was put out by Topps, but this was an alternative set, and I love this picture. I love the set. Really not too expensive, and I found this one super cheap, but I love the 1970 Supers. This one is my Roberto Clemente. It's the only card I have. I love the fact that the back is pretty much an exact copy of the 1970 backs with bigger print. So for old farts like me, I can see it see it better. But this is another one of what I'm talking about. And so there's another one of Topps Supers. This was a gift to me. Again, it was another Topps product, but I just love these cards, and I think they're beautiful. But the pop-ups from 63, there's a great Joe Torre, and just a beautiful card. And again, it's a little bit off the beaten path, and you don't always have to get the Mickey Mantles or the Hank Aaron's and the big high-dollar cards to be able to enjoy a different set. And it just sort of shows a variety. So there's my stand-up card of Joe Torre. Next one, again, this is not in any order at all because this goes way back, and I've shown this one many a times, but why not? So a Cracker Jack, you know, these are not becoming more and more popular. They've always been popular. They're becoming more and more expensive. I was blessed to get this one. It's a great story behind it, but the color on this card, I love the fact that, you know, for 2 years, a confectionery company that we all still know and sing about every time we go to a game decided we're going to put baseball cards in, and they did it for a couple years, and then that was it. I like the fact that if you delve into this, they actually, in the 15 set, actually have some Federal League cards. And I think that's really cool because you don't see a whole lot of that where they actually mention Federal League teams. But again, part of the history of collecting cards and just to sell some Cracker Jacks to kids. So there's that one. The next one, this was another gift for me from, I don't think I've ever even shown on my channel before, but I love the innovation of this. And this is the Mecha Double Folder. And if you're not aware of these cards, there's a 2 players on a card. It's a full on the front, and on the back, there's a half of a player. And there's actually a crease intended. You can kind of see it. Let me show it. Kind of across his chest right here. And the card would fold down, and the top half of the player here would join into the legs of the player here to create a different card. And these were packaged in cigarettes in 1911. And the reason they did this was they put it in a paper pack, and they used this, and it was a dual purpose. They used it to not only try to sell their product by packaging with baseball players, but also it helped strengthen the pack so they didn't have to produce little cardboard boxes to be able to sell a pack of cards. So it was a twofold thing. No pun intended, but a two-purpose thing. So there's that. And this card I got this year. I love this card. I look at it all the time. But this is an old Scraps card. It's technically the Scraps Tobacco. However, it was not a tobacco set. And this is from 1888. This is the oldest card in my collection by far. And I was so happy to get this card. But another type card. I don't think I'll ever get another card from this set, but I'm so happy to have this. And just look at that mustache on that guy. I mean, phenomenal, phenomenal. And I mentioned Goudey before, but, you know, you're probably most familiar with the 33 or maybe even the 34, but this is my only 38 Goudey, but I love the cartoon version of my Jimmy Fox with the scribbles. You know, some people like it with the scribbles, some without. I understand the reasonings for both, but another type card. Happy to have this of a great Hall of Famer that really doesn't get as much love as he probably should compared to the other players around him in history. But I love this card. Again, innovation, trying to sell gum in a very hard time during the Depression. And, you know, let's make it some cartoons and put it on there. So I love this type card. And this one, I don't know if I ever have showed it off, but I'm going to. So you're familiar with these, but the Burt Ross cards. And here's my Joe DiMaggio from 1951. And, you know, they're not as clear. You know, there's sort of a grainy image that's colored in. But still, it's another type of card. And this was meant to try to sell something by showing different players. And they didn't have a long run for many, many years. But they did have these. And you can find some great players and really a whole lot cheaper than finding other cards. So there's a Joe DiMaggio from my 1951, his last year of playing days card. And actually, I'll probably be selling this card because I added the leaf. And so I'm probably going to have to fund something else by selling this one. But I'm okay. I've had this one for years and years, and happy to upgrade it. Anyway. Moving on. So another one is this card I got, and I did a great video on this a long time ago. Never have seen these cards before. I've actually looked around since I picked this up, and I have not seen really a whole lot of them out there. And it's a great little card, and when I say little card, I mean a little card because it is a tiny, tiny little card. And these came out, I believe, in 1950. It's not even focusing on it, but there's a Pee Wee Reese. It's the same image as in the Burt Ross set. I don't even remember R530 or something. They don't even have a name for it. It's just a designation. But they came in a strip in 13, I believe, and kids would cut them up. They were perforated. They all just have this little sort of baseball diamond on the back. But another type card, glad to have it, not only for my type card collection, but also for my Pee Wee Reese. And then the last type card that I picked up a few weeks ago, and I did a video, just floored that I even found this, let alone was able to afford it, but my 1953 Briggs Meats Carl Erskine. So there's another great example of type cards. I really, really like type card collecting. I like the discovery, like I said. I love the education of it because when I see a card that I'm not familiar with, I do a lot of research, and usually you can find some little quirky thing about the company or the product or the way they distributed it, or maybe how they tried to come on and then they were squashed by a big company. That happened a lot, actually. Topps did that a lot to little companies, but I like the history of it all because all of them were just trying to do something. They were just trying to sell a product, and they're like, why not put a picture of a baseball player in there? So those are some examples, not by any means an example of every single type I have, but those are the reasons I like them. I love looking at these cards. What are the weirdest cards that you have? What's a type card that you have that you're like, oh man, he didn't mention this, or I hope he did and I didn't? I'd love to hear about it. Like, have you done different types of cards from some of your favorite players or teams? And you know, if not, that's fine. But I really like the discovery part of type collecting. And I thought I'd share these with you today. So I appreciate it as always. And until next time, you guys be good.